Cool. So then, yeah, let's move into the last topic. We've got a little bit of time left here. Something I'm really excited to talk about. I didn't know if this was gonna fit the format and what we do on this. But John actually recommended we talk about it. I think probably knowing that I've been a Bo Burnham fan.
Okay.
Since he was on YouTube. We're basically the exact same age, so like of course whatever he probably finds funny, like I probably found funny, and
Right.
I have
So subtitle. I want to know what the old guy thinks.
yeah. No. Well, hey,
The one
listen,
with the gray in his beard.
listen. I'm definitely by far the youngest here. I mean, yeah, John's got me by a decade, so
All right.
so
We close.
yeah. So we're talking about obviously Bo Burnham's a new special that came out on Netflix really recently called Inside. I'm going to jump in first. I think. I hope I don't. I'm a fan, so it's going to be a little biased. But that said, it seems to be my thoughts here seem to be fairly shared. It sounds like maybe John has a different opinion. I think it's incredible. I think it is so good. But what I'm able to talk about and think about when I watch this, outside of, I think he has a really unique take on the pandemic, on mental health, his own mental health. He's got this really retrospective opinion on himself, and like some, he's a comedian, so he said some stuff throughout his life that he regrets saying, and he talks about that a ton. I mean, it's a really vulnerable piece of art, I think, that he put together. And then on top of that, he's always got incredible timing. I think his jokes are so smart and also hilarious at the same time. And I think that, that kind of fits things that I'm into. I kind of hate dumb comedy. Like Jeff Dunham is a really good example. I hate Jeff Dunham. I get why people think he's funny, but I'm not going to laugh at a puppet. It doesn't make me laugh. It doesn't do it for me. So I really appreciate that. And then on top of all of that, he did this all by himself in his studio. He created the sets and the angles and and set up all of the equipment and did all the lights. And he obviously wrote all the songs. And then the music is really good. Like if you strip away the jokes, you strip away what he's talking about, strip away the fact that he stripped down for some of this and was in his underwear half the time. The music alone is so incredibly well done. The quality of this, I think, is awesome.
Yeah, I was like, he must have got really into synthwave during the pandemic.
So anyway, overall, I won't give anything a perfect score. I really like this. I give it a 9 out of 10. For me, I think it's great. I will not tell you how many times I've watched it. I've watched it several times. So that's my opinion. Hopefully, if I said something that you didn't think about, it kind of makes you adjust a score, maybe or not. But anyway, let's. I want to hear Kelby so bad, so I'm going to hold off on it, and I'm going to go to John first because I want to hear what Kelby thinks, especially somebody that makes music, makes videos. I want to hear his opinion. But John, what do you think?
So I think everything that you said can be true, and the ultimate end product could come out not that entertaining.
Okay.
Or funny to some degree.
Sure.
I think it was very impressive, and like I don't know like how true it was, like the time frame that it kind of portrayed as taking, if it really was like a full year or something like that.
Well,
I'm
you
not
saw
sure.
his hair growth, right? So yes,
yeah,
I think it's
could be CGI. I don't know.
It's not CGI, but I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but that's fair.
He got that Disney budget, huh?
Hey, listen, there is acting in this, like outside of just like him like dancing around. It's like, he's acting a lot of this stuff out.
But mainly what I'm saying is that if that is true, that it took him like almost a year or whatever to make this, then that plays into the timing aspect. But I kind of feel like this. Like the main problem with this, I feel, is the timing of its release. Like I feel like it's kind of missed its window.
You think it should have been released earlier?
Yeah, but like with the amount of time it took him to make it, that might not have been possible.
Fair enough.
Which is totally fair. And not taken away from the amount of work it took to film, edit, do all that stuff on the fly, and look like basically he was living in one room that entire time.
Which is his studio. He didn't live in that.
Okay. I mean, did he not during the time?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. But I think a lot of what he did was clever. I don't think it was necessarily funny. Like I mean, there's a couple of jokes and there's a couple of bits that I really liked, but overall, this is not one of my favorite specials of his.
Yeah.
It wasn't horrible. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen.
Man, it's so different. No,
but it, you know,
horribly
no,
incredible,
it wasn't horrible.
maybe. Yeah,
No, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, no.
Like, you know, it wasn't to me, this wasn't even a comedy special. This was
it's a one-man show. That's what he does.
Yeah, exactly. It was a one-man show. It was, you know, it was like a performance art.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, that's what his last special was as well. I've seen him live, and that's what it is. It almost feels more like a funny one-man Broadway show than a comedy show, in all honesty.
Right.
So I agree with you. I think maybe you should have watched it through a slightly different lens. You know, he didn't do stand-up comedy. It wasn't the Kevin Hart special. You know what I mean? Which he's the biggest comedian maybe of all time at this point. But the biggest comedian.
No. Dave Chappelle, right? Is the
but did Dave Chappelle sell as many tickets as Kevin Hart? I don't know. That dude is like doing like he like performs at like the Broncos Stadium. I mean, the dude sells so many tickets.
Right. But what I'm saying is I'm not mad. I saw it. I didn't hate it. Am I going to go out and watch it again in the next month, year, whatever? Probably not. But you know, I didn't think it was awful. And you know, I would probably, you know, I don't remember what you gave it. You gave it like a 9 or something.
I give it a 9. Yeah.
I think I would give it like a 6.5.
All right. Man, all right. No, it's okay. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and it makes sense. Like, if I was 10 years older than I am, I feel like it wouldn't have hit me in the same way. And then also, I am totally biased, for sure. I know that I am. I like the stuff that he's put out. I've been a fan forever. So, and that may have accommodated for a full point for me, to be honest, like, at least.
I mean, maybe it just, like you said, maybe it just wasn't made for me. You know, you were able to identify with this, you know, kind of
literally the exact same age, like within like I think maybe a couple of months. So, I mean, we lived probably very similar lives in all honesty. Outside of the fact he's a famous comedian and I'm not, but I just mean in general, like the things we've been through history and that kind of thing. Okay, cool. Anything else you wanted to add before we? I'm just dying to hear what Kelby has to say.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
All right, Kelby, I want to hear it so bad. Not that I didn't want to hear John.
Just throwing him away. I know. It's like,
be quiet, John. No, I was kidding.
Man, so what did I think? So I had to research this guy.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, I watched it, and I went back and watched one of his specials. He had a piano on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
I really had to understand him because it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't laugh out loud funny.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm used to. I say Dave Chappelle. I don't watch a lot of stand up, so I should say that too. I started watching him again when Kevin Hart came out.
Yeah. And
since Dave Chappelle, I do like the social issues. I love social issues.
Yeah.
So Chappelle is it for me, even when I'm not laughing. I can just hear him talk about that kind of stuff. So with that being said, man, the first song, right? Was he talking about I don't know if it was as far as white privilege, but just some of the things he
yeah. So the first song is technically a song called Content, where he basically is like, hey, I made a thing, because he hasn't done that in a while. But the second
so maybe
song
it was
is
the
called,
second song.
It's called Comedy. Yeah, and he basically goes into I mean, he talks about I think he talks about social issues kind of throughout as well. But yeah, he definitely touches on white privilege for sure. And he's just like,
I think it was
like, I'm trying to be funny during like all of this stuff because like I am a comedian, but like, am I going to be able to do anything about what's happening and in a positive way, but also like joke about it because like that's his job.
Exactly. And so that was a strong start for me. I live down south. I'm in Georgia, so I'm in a place where the conversations are extreme.
Sure,
it might be like that everywhere in America, but I mean here in particular is it's extreme divide. So I can hear the conflict, and I like that. Mm-hmm. Again, I don't even know if that's funny though. It was just listening from that perspective.
Yeah,
where you know any of my Caucasian brothers that I've talked to about it, it's like, man, that's what they say. It's got to be tricky. What can I say? What can I not say? Am I being racist if I do this?
Right. Yeah.
Am I doing too much?
Am I helping or am I just making it worse?
My favorite part.
Yeah.
should I shut the F up?
Yeah, yeah.
And dude was like, nah, I'm bored.
Yeah. Well, that's, and
know,
I think, and he's, so that joke specifically, I think that is one of the funniest things because, like, it's, I don't think he's talking about himself in that, like, obviously he can't shut up because he's singing a song in his comedy special, but at the same time, like, I think he's talking about, like, everyone else that maybe has no business saying anything about it at all.
Exactly.
But
you know
they
what?
can't help it because they're bored, so they just
I think it was that sequence. What were the jokes? He was like, "Shut up and call me, and I'll tell you a joke." There was like a bunch of those scenarios. I thought that was really funny. Actually, that's probably my favorite part.
If you wake up in a house full of smoke, just give me a call or call me and I'll tell you a joke. If you see white men dressed in white cloaks, call me and I'll tell you a joke. The point being, of course, like, he's not helping.
Right,
he's
exactly.
not going to fix any of this. But
yeah.
at the same time, like, do you ignore it? Do you not say something? Do you not make a comedy special as a comedian? Like, so, and then of course he's like, maybe I just shut the fuck up, and then just like, nah, I'm bored. I don't want to do that. Which is his comment on, I think, social media to a degree, like all these people, white woman's Instagram after that, right? Where he basically is just like, do like, educate yourself. That's what you can do. Like, stop making these points that you won't get. But at the same time, like, he can't stop talking because, well, this is his job.
Yeah.
So he makes money,
and you know what?
It's a conflict.
Even that, I mean, it was real. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I can be into the social issues, and it's not that I was overly thinking that as well. I don't want you to think I was sitting there you got to say the right thing. It was, right. I felt like it could resonate with different people. You know what I'm saying? That so here's where it threw me off. Mind you, when I'm watching it, I don't know what this is. I'm thinking it's a comedy special. So I get that song. I get two songs.
Yeah.
It fades out. Okay, we about to get to the jokes, baby. And you know what happened? Another song came on.
Yeah.
And another song. And another song. I just watched a long ass music video.
Yeah,
I don't know if, when I was growing up, they used to have these DVDs they were released that would have all the music. It was live performances and music videos. That's what I felt like I watched.
That's funny.
So the reason I had to, now that sounds like a diss, I had to watch it twice. First time I watched it, I didn't like it. In fact, my review sounded more like yours, where I respected the technical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the whole thing was amazing. I'm thinking, like, how are you doing it? Man, I got cameras sitting in my room when I was watching it. I was like, wow, why didn't I think of that? Is it too late for me to do it? Where they say I'm biting. You know, my beard was shorter at the beginning of the pandemic. But so, dude, just the wonder in the way he sold it, whether he was acting or not. I mean, he sold it as if he just bought a camera. Mm-hmm. So your lighting techniques, cinematography is a big deal.
Yeah, no,
the music.
He does know what he's doing.
Yeah, man. I was constantly aware of the technical piece, and not in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
It better. You know, sometimes that'll take you out of it, but it actually was like, wow, is he lip syncing right there? Is that, you know, the whole bit with the sock?
Dude,
is it pre-recorded? Like, how perfect do you got to be to do that?
So to tell you, I mean, I've been to live shows that he's done, and obviously I didn't see him perform this, but he's had plenty of other things where there's like a voiceover and he's talking to it.
Right.
He does it live. So
right.
My guess is he probably had a little help. In the fact that he could do it 6 times or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, my guess is he recorded the sock voice, which that's probably my least favorite part, just because like it's flowing and then it kind of just spends a lot of time talking, and I was just like,
right. But, and that was it, man. I mean, so the first time it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it was funny. In a sense, I only laughed a couple of times, but I enjoyed it though. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I went back and watched one of his comedy shows and was like, oh my God, it's the same thing. It's just he did it on stage.
Yep.
But it was the exact same thing, and even more produced, right?
Sure.
Yeah, when I saw it the second time, I enjoyed it a lot more. It's still, I have to say, the humor, the comedy isn't for me, I don't think.
Maybe not.
Like, it was a different, Again, and I can't explain that, man. Like my mom, I know you've been around my mom, man. My mom and brother and them.
Yeah.
The people in my house are comedians. Non-stop jokes. Non-stop. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of turned off, which is why I say Chappelle even when I'm not laughing out loud, it's just like, oh my God, that's interesting. That's a real cool way of thinking. And I got that from him too. Same kind of thing. I just didn't laugh out loud.
Yeah. It's interesting to say because obviously I mean I love it. I think it's great. But I don't really. There's a couple times. Yeah. I mean I laughed at the first time I heard maybe I should shut the fuck up, and then he's like, I don't want to do that. I did laugh at that.
Right.
And then I laugh. I'm trying to think I laughed a few times at like the white woman Instagram, which to be honest is probably like the lowest hanging fruit song.
Yeah, it was definitely his most jokey song.
Right.
And so I laughed a little bit at that one, but yeah, I mean, I think time has gone. Go ahead, John.
I was gonna say, I think my favorite bit was just from a technical perspective. Was when he was reviewing the review of his video, like what was it, like 5 or 6 deep at that point? Yeah. I was really impressed, and I enjoyed that bit quite a bit.
Yeah, so obviously he started. What I think about when I think about this is he started as a YouTuber. Like he made videos for his brother. He's like writing funny songs. I mean, he talks about it, right? He would go to church on Sunday and wear a suit and tie, and then he'd watch Family Guy and write offensive songs like that as a kid, as like 15, 16 years old. And his brother was away at college, and he wanted to I wrote these funny songs. He recorded it, he put it on YouTube so his brother could see it. It got picked up by College Humor somehow, and then he got famous overnight, and then he made a bunch of other stuff. So that's kind of where he started, and then he started touring and went from there. But he actually directed a movie called 8th Grade that won a ton of awards recently. So that's why he obviously knows.
So that makes sense. Yeah. So he knew what he was doing
for sure.
Because like I said, he got the feeling like he had just bought that camera and worked. And I'm looking at it as like somebody had to have helped him because it was artistically, it felt simple, but just for someone that's behind the camera, it was just, you could just tell
he's
where the camera's focused, the lighting, even the things that were moving, the lights that's moving around. It's like, man, you have to have a very good awareness.
It was lower budget for sure, but he's been in movies, but also he made a feature length movie that he wrote and directed.
He's in Promising Young Woman, which I really want to see. Haven't got a chance to see it yet.
Okay, I might check that out.
Funny People with all the comedians, he's in that.
Oh yeah, you know what? I never watched it all the way through. I only watched the part with RZA. Because I'm a Wu-Tang fan.
Yeah, no,
it's corny.
No, that's all right. But yeah, so he got his start making YouTube videos, and I think that was kind of like his thought. Like, I can't do these live performances. And we'll end here soon, but we talked about Kevin Hart. I want to make a connection that I was thinking about when I was taking a shower this morning between the Kevin Hart special, which I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, the most recent one on Netflix, that he does in his basement.
I couldn't even finish watching it. Oh, yeah, I couldn't finish watching that one either.
Oh, well, I'm interested, but we'll talk about that in a sec. And of course, the fact that he started making these, he basically made YouTube videos. Like you said, it felt like a bunch of music video. He basically made an hour and 30 minutes of YouTube videos that are super, super high quality, obviously put on Netflix, and made up for the fact that he couldn't do it in person. And so that's probably, it felt that way because he's got some jokes about sort of reflecting, and he says in one of the songs, like, am I just back where I started 14 years ago? And I think, in a way, because he's just making these things just like in his bedroom when he's little. Now he's just making them in the, in his studio at his house. So anyway, I think there are multiple levels and layers to a lot of the jokes and a lot of what's happening. And I like the conversation about depression and what the pandemic did to people. I think that was. I
was gonna say that my favorite part, because I'm saying social issues was probably the wrong thing.
No, he definitely addresses
everything that he touched on. The suicide stuff.
When I was 17, for Halloween, I dressed up as Aladdin, like that line. I don't know if you remember that one. He's like, it's one of them. He's like, when I was 17 for Halloween, I dressed up as Aladdin. He's like, I didn't darken my skin, but it feels weird.
Yeah.
So like, he's like, when I just realized it was in my mother's attic. When I get home, I'm gonna burn it or not burn it. Is that burning it bad? What should I do with it? So it's like kind of like him kind of realizing, even just as this mostly innocent 17-year-old kid who he dressed up as Aladdin, and he didn't realize that like there could be a problem with that issue. As an Indian character, right. So he didn't who's the dude from Johnny Five? He didn't Johnny Five it, but
man, but he apologized for. I feel so. Oh man, come on.
But at the same
It's a
time,
classic, right?
Yeah, well,
I get it though. Yeah, I get it now. I mean, but I just watched it recently.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, but anyway, the connection. Really, really quick. I'm curious if you guys thought about this. Obviously, I'm not comparing Kevin Hart and Bo Burnham only in the fact they both made comedy specials, because Kevin Hart is far and away the biggest comic right now. I think, at least selling out and not selling out theaters and making movies and multi-talented and all that stuff, and hilariously funny, but in a very different style. But he also did the same thing, right? He made a special in his basement. So what's interesting to me about it is there was this interesting thing where Bo Burnham is sort of talking about, and he has for some time, like comedians like making money and like getting paid millions and millions of dollars to like just say funny stuff or play the piano and be like fairly talented, and then he just made this whole thing in his room, and like this super low budget thing, in all honesty. And then Kevin Hart's is interesting because he did the same thing. He did it on a bigger scale, because Kevin Hart is a bigger scale than Bo Burnham will ever be. But then in his special, Kevin Hart was talking about having dinner with Jerry Seinfeld, which is really important, I think, to point out, because Jerry Seinfeld is money-wise the richest comedian of all. I mean, $950 million or something, like almost $1 billion. And to be honest, not that funny. But anyway, so he was talking about having like a pizza oven at his house. Like, you remember this part from the special? He like went and had dinner, and he was like, "Oh, we've got our own. Oh, what about pizza ovens or whatever?" Anyway, he does a better impression than I do. But and then at the end, he like served pizza from his own pizza oven. And what I liked about the comparison is that like Bo Burnham did basically the exact same thing, but he did it for no one. He did and did it with like without any flexes at all. But I think what was important is like Kevin Hart deserved to flex. And he even talks about that in his special when they like wanted him to be like a greeter at his kid's school. He's like, whoa, I don't think you understand my level of celebrity. It's like, hold on a second. I'm one of the most famous people in the world right now. And like, I guess the connection I was trying to make is I love that like Bo Burnham sort of did a similar thing, obviously a very different way, but like he did what he knew, which was, and what he felt like he deserved to do, which is like basically make YouTube videos in his room, but make some comedy. And then Kevin Hart did the same thing. He's like, look, I'm the biggest comedian right now in terms of like money, sales, and all of that. Even though I agree that Dave Chappelle is better. But, so I'm going to have people in my giant, amazing house that I earned, and I'm going to feed you my like, you know, I guess, suck it Jerry Seinfeld pizza from my pizza oven. And I don't know. I was just thinking about that this morning, and I don't know if I articulated it the way I thought about it, but I like that they kind of did the same kind of thing in their in like
two different versions of the same thing.
Yeah, but their own version. And then also like touched on this other stuff where
I'll tell you what,
I deserve what I have, and then Kevin Hart's like, I fucking do. I like that actually.
And Bo Burnham was able to do, because I didn't like that basement special, and I don't know anybody that does, to be honest with you.
Interesting.
Like I had stopped it and I was gonna go back and watch it, and people were telling me
I don't love it. I thought it was fine.
Yeah. I didn't even get that far. I watched probably about 10, 15 minutes of it. But and I like Kevin Hart. I do like Kevin Hart. But the Bo Burnham, like I said, even when I wasn't laughing, I was in awe by the technical, because even we say it's low budget, it
felt like expensive.
It was not. I mean, right. You know what? And maybe not low budget.
I mean, it was low budget, but it wasn't low concept or low skill.
That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? It was like, what budget would you throw into it? You know what I mean? I felt like he probably had the money to throw whatever he wanted to. If he needed you're right, it's not Marvel, it's not making a movie. Yeah. But if I need a projector to project some nonsense behind me, he went out and bought it.
Right.
He bought cameras, and I can even see the lighting differences. You know, he had one song where it was, and it looked good, and then he had scenes that didn't look good. And so then it's like, okay, this is purposeful. He knows what he's doing. This is supposed to look low budget because he wants it to look that way.
And like the room was like a total mess or whatever. It was a
Right,
mess.
right.
He like set that setup. Like
Dude, I was watching that too. Yeah, man.
Like,
There was a scene towards the end where he got up and it's like, I wonder if the room was really,
that
and you
messy.
guys touched on it when you guys were asking whether he was in there for a year or not.
Yeah.
And it's like, it almost don't matter, man. I mean, just the fact that we're asking that question is powerful because neither one of you guys asked the question with certainty as he couldn't have been in there.
Yeah,
or,
I'm
it sounded like a genuine question.
I'm
Was he in
pretty
there for a year?
positive that he has a home, and this is a studio at his
Dude,
house.
you're only basing that off your plush life with Teslas and and
you know how long I've been in this
beards.
room, Kelby? I get food brought to the door. But yeah, so anyway, we talked about that a little longer than I intended to. But I'm a big fan. I'm glad that it seems like you guys appreciated certain aspects.
I appreciated it, man. I mean,
and,
I would rate it high just off the quality, man.
Oh yeah,
but
I didn't get that. Yeah, how did you want to rate it?
Dude, I'll probably give it a 7.
Okay.
Probably a 7, man. Just
That's
off.
fair.
I enjoyed it. I watched it twice. And you sent me down a rabbit hole. I've got to see more. Because even the stand-up wasn't laugh out loud funny to me, but it's like I feel like I'm missing something.
It's also, I think, important to go and watch some of this because it's still on YouTube.
I'm gonna look for it now.
To
the
go
YouTube
and watch
stuff?
some of the stuff that he's talking about. He said I was this kid that grew up in like a mostly white small town in Massachusetts, and I wrote offensive shit, and then I said it online. Like that's some of his songs are. I mean, they're certainly racist and xenophobic. And all that because. And he's like, oh well, I was just a kid, and then he's like, well, hold on, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm not making up for it. So,
and he's a comedian. I mean, there's a whole nother world. I can sit here and tell you what's offensive and what's not. It's always, I do music. Oh, trust me, dog. I've obviously said some extremely offensive stuff in my music. The irony is, I could probably still run for president. Grab him by the whatever.
Yeah,
but I can't do anything else. I couldn't manage a McDonald's at this point.
Apparently, you just need to be 35. Like, that's it. You're 35?
Is that it?
You got to be 35 and
I'd have missed that. So there's an argument, man.
Well, I don't mean exactly 35. I just mean at least 35. Sorry. Anyway, go on.
Oh, no, for sure. But, so, man, as an artist, man, I enjoyed that, That he definitely spoke. I heard the being able to speak, not speak, using his power, taking accountability for what you have done. Mm-hmm. And I can hear the growth, man, from the older one that I saw. And I can tell you, I did see him on an interview on CNN or I think it was CNN. I saw him. Mm-hmm. They spoke to him. It's weird. He didn't promote this show. He just talked about depression. They had him on there talking about depression and comedy.
Interesting.
And it did tie to the. Sure. So when that part of this movie showed up, I was like, oh my God, I remember this guy. I didn't know his name. Didn't really know who he was when I saw him on the interview.
Interesting. I'll have to go look for that. I didn't see that.
Yeah. So, man. I'm glad you put it on me, man. Definitely way better than because I was like mad as hell at you when I was watching Awake. If I had to be honest with you.
Hey, listen. Some of this podcast is gonna be some shitty stuff we gotta watch. Yeah. We gotta let the people know.
We got a job to do, right? Got a job to do.
Not to watch it. Yeah. Well, it's a job. It's a volunteer work.
Yeah.
For anybody that's watching, we do.
Oh, you didn't tell Johnny I get paid? Did I get paid?
Oh.
You didn't tell him what my check was? We were talking about it.
Well, anyway, okay, so went a little long. Appreciate you guys jumping in this. It's 8:00. We gotta wrap this up. So for anybody that was watching, thanks for watching. If you like what we're doing, I mean, we've been doing this. Recently, we've been doing it every week, but we're really going to kind of stick to a bi-weekly schedule, I think, until after Loki is done. So we're going to try to do a shorter episode for each episode of Loki, so don't miss on that. But we're always talking about new movies. We'll kind of give you an idea of what maybe you should go and check out, maybe get a little bit of a review. And then, of course, down in the comment section, you can let us know what you think. And if there's a movie you want us to review or a TV show you want us to check out, let us know that as well. And then if you want to reach out to us directly, ask a question, or have us bring up a topic, you can email us at justshotpodcast@gmail.com. So cool. Thanks, John. And again, thanks, Kelby, for using your free time a little bit here to talk with us. Always appreciate it when you come on. It's really helpful.
Oh, yeah. This is awesome, man.
And cool. So thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.